Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena for another edition of the Everblades pregame show. Will Henschel alongside Jake Maurice ahead of Saturday's Skunk Ape Night matchup as the Everblades finish up a three-game series with the ADK Thunder after taking the first two games in pretty convincing fashion. Jake, another classic game we saw last night, the Everblades taking a 4-1 win over the Thunder and looking to take the sweep tonight.
Yeah, taking over the game just 15 seconds in, fastest goal of the season. Zach Ewan's getting his first of the year, just a feel-good goal all around. But importantly, Florida keeps it going after that, because sometimes you see an early goal and then there's a quick response like we saw Florida do on Wednesday when Adirondack scored early. They quickly flipped it and got the game tied back up. The Everblades kept the pressure going in the first, and they were eventually able to get another goal from Nathan Steos to get a multi-goal lead going into the first period intermission. And when Florida's playing in that kind of situation, things usually end up pretty good for them.
Yeah, the Everblades record holding on to a multi-goal lead, or at least a lead after the first period, is pretty darn spectacular. The Everblades
16-3-3 this year.
Not too shabby, 16-3-3. But the Everblades, like you said, maintaining that pressure through a full 60 minutes, really kind of spreading out the offense and keeping Adirondack at bay for the final 40 minutes of play.
Yeah, I mean, 8 guys in this series, these two games, have points in both games against Adirondack. A couple guys are riding 3-game point streaks, multiple different goal scores. The offense has been really spread around on both the forward and D core. So it's been what you need to do if you're going to go far in the playoffs. You need everyone to be contributing. You can't just be riding one line or one hot power play, something like that. You need depth scoring, consistently showing up, and that's been the case through these two games.
And now you go from the hot offense, and let's talk about this great defense. Really holding Adirondack at bay for the better part of 2 games. Like we said, only 1 goal last night, and a big part of that has been Cam Johnson. He has stood on his head for 2 games. We expect to see him in between the pipes tonight, and he's going to be a key factor in taking the sweep.
Yeah, for sure. There were a few times he bailed out the Blades last night on some busted coverages, odd man chances against. But for the most part, the defense was improved on Friday from Wednesday. Good couple days in the video room, some practice, hard practicing for the team, paying off in that big win last night. And now you got to be ready to do it again, because Adirondack is a hard-working team, and they're going to be very unhappy that they've dropped back-to-back games against the Blades.
Now the Adirondack Thunder still the #1 team in the North Division.
By quite a lot.
They're not surrendering that position anytime soon. The Everblades still maintaining their 4th place position in the South Division, so still holding on to a playoff spot. This would be a really good opportunity to get 2 more points tonight before you're taking on, teams like Orlando and Jacksonville and other South Division teams starting next week.
Yeah, and it's a chance to make a real statement. This team doesn't really need to make too many statements as the back-to-back champions, but it's just a reminder for the rest of the league that, yeah, Florida's still here, and they are still very much the team you're going to have to go through if you want a chance at the Kelly Cup. I mean, the Everblades have not shied away from the three-peat being the goal. They don't mind using the term. There's no superstition about it or anything like that, and they're fine with saying it. And Adirondack right now looks like the team that is going to be coming out of the North Division. Of course, there's plenty of time left, and the playoffs are a whole different style of game than what we're seeing in the regular season. But if you can make that kind of statement tonight, sweeping the Thunder, something the Everblades I don't believe have done this year, is sweep a 3-game set against an opponent. If you can do that here tonight, that is a huge momentum builder for Florida going forward.
Back on the ice, we talked about this a little bit ahead of Friday's game, but the special teams has kind of been an area of focus for the Florida team for quite some time. The penalty kill did really strong last night. The power play did earn a goal, and we actually saw multiple special teams goals because Oliver Chow netted a shorthanded, unassisted breakaway goal in the second period to really help the Everblades pull ahead. So certainly looking to see more production out of the special teams tonight.
Yeah, pretty goal, 5th shorthanded goal of the season for Florida, and Oliver Chow, he's been a smart player all year, and he's one of those guys who's contributed in back-to-back games for the Blades. The power play, they did get the goal, yes, but the results didn't quite match up with the process. There were some rough power plays for Florida in yesterday's game, and that's one of the only areas that didn't see a pretty big improvement from Game 1 to Game 2 versus the Thunder. So I imagine that's going to be a focal point for Florida tonight, is getting the power play looking the way it should, not just getting 1 goal off of a nice move by an individual player.
Certainly something that head coach and general manager Brad Ralph has expressed in the past is improving that power play. You improve that power play, you certainly help your chances of defeating some of these upper echelon teams.
Yeah, I mean, earlier this season, the power play was in the basement. It spent a little bit of time as the worst in the league, and it's risen up a fair bit since then. Still a little bit below league average, but it's creeping closer and closer. It's just a matter of keep going, you keep getting in the video room, you keep working on it at every practice you can, and eventually the process will start to expand, or it'll start to get better, and then the results will come.
A third game against the Adirondack Thunder teed up here at Hertz Arena tonight. Again, Skunk Ape night, so you can expect to maybe see a Skunk Ape.
Keep your eyes peeled, as always.
I would keep your eyes peeled for a Skunk Ape later tonight. But Jake, a really great game teed up against the Thunder. So let's get into the Griffith Group of Downing Fry Realty. 3 keys to the game.
All right, well, this is going to be Cam Johnson's third game in 4 days. He's going to be expected to carry a lot of the mail with Evan Cormier called up to the AHL. And even for a goalie as great as Cam, 3 games in 4 days is a lot. So you want to support him out front of the net as much as you can. Just clear away anything that is too far away that he can't reach out, cover, bat away, anything like that. Be there to support and box guys out in front of the net. Second off, communication is key. Adirondack is a hardworking team, an aggressive team. They can get on you quick. You got to make sure you're talking with your teammates when you're on the ice so that everyone knows where the opponents are, what passing lanes are safe, who's ready to take a pass, all that important stuff. And then we touched on it, special teams, always a factor. The Everblades, they'd had the power play goal. They had the shorthanded goal. It looks good on paper, but it wasn't quite as good looking on the ice. So getting those 2 numbers, the eye test and the stats to match up tonight will be key for Florida.
The final game of a 3-game set against the Adirondack Thunder. Tonight, puck drop set for 7 here at Hertz Arena. We'll see you there.